Who is Raphael Tuju? And where does he even get the guts to contradict and challenge his deputy party leader, who is also the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto? Because we all know that Raphael Tuju is the Secretary General of Jubilee Party. And as the Secretary General of Jubilee Party, Tuju is expected to be neutral in times of crisis like the one we are witnessing now. And we also know that Jubilee Party is currently facing high voltage politics. And yesterday, Raphael Tuju finally responded to the allies of the deputy president, William Samoei Ruto, through a press conference. And I want us to dissect the response from Raphael Tuju. Because by going through that particular response by Tuju, it is clear that Tuju is talking with confidence. It is also clear that someone higher in Jubilee Party is fully behind Raphael Tuju. And when Raphael Tuju issued that statement, Moses Kuria was the first person to respond. And this is what Moses Kuria said about that press conference. I want you to listen to it very keenly. Moses Kuria said something. I have read the statement by Raphael Tuju, the immediate former Secretary General of Jubilee Party. It is nothing but childish kizungu mingi, so I will not even dignify it by posting it on this adult forum. That is my page. Listen very keenly. Honorable Tuju has only one message, that he will not allow William Ruto anywhere near the management of the party, because the DP allegedly rigged out some leaders in Mount Kenya region in 2007. This is an insult to the intelligence of voters in Mount Kenya region. Nesawato, we shall revisit. 26 months left. So the 26 months he's talking about is actually the months to the next general election. And from the tone of Moses Kuria's response to Tuju's post, it is clear that Tuju is actually working under instructions of someone up there. And let us call a spade a spade. Tuju is working for President Uhuru Kenyatta. Remember, the DP referred to these people as fraudsters and conmen. And in response to Caleb Kositanyi's letter, the registrar of political parties also responded. And this is what they said. Because Tuju wrote a letter, the allies of the DP wrote protest letters, then the MP for Soy, who is the Deputy Secretary General of Jubilee Party, also went and submitted a protest officially. So, registrar of political parties was very clear. The registrar of political parties said that the intentions to change Jubilee Party's National Management Committee followed the law, as it was signed off by the bona fide party officials. That's a very heavy statement. These are the bona fide party officials. The DP is referring to them as conmen and as fraudsters. But who is Raphael Tuju working for? President Uhuru Kenyatta. And I was reading a comment by one of my friends here, and the friend posted something which I thought would be of interest. It's called Kamasasa. It's an authority when it comes to this politics, especially in Western Kenya. He said, I wanted to listen to what Kamasasa is saying before we go into to dissect the statement by Raphael Tuju. Kamasasa is saying that Tuju has no personal and magical powers to mount a decision and effect it in Jubilee Party. And that's the fact. Tuju doesn't have any personal and magical power to control Jubilee Party. The son of Raila possesses no such economical, political, religious, and traditional powers in the party. So basically, Tuju is just an ordinary party member. Apart from the mere fact that he's the Secretary General, he doesn't have economical power. Tuju doesn't have political power. Even he doesn't have even constituencies controlling in Jubilee Party. He doesn't have religious power. He's not in Jubilee because he was seconded by a particular religion. He doesn't even have traditional powers, according to Kamasasa. The gentleman is innocent. That's according to Kamasasa. And that's also my take. He is simply getting instructions from his boss, Uhuru, and religiously implements them. This is what Ruto knows. This is what Ruto and his line of noisy MPs are aware of. They should just excuse the innocent Tuju and directly attack President Uhuru Kenyatta. Remember yesterday, I said one of the strategies which the DP can use is not to start going directly and attacking the president. So in this war in Jubilee Party, I think Raphael Tuju is innocent, but is working for President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, let us now go into that particular press statement by Raphael Tuju and dissect it into pieces, because it's important. We can't just let that statement by Raphael Tuju to pass like that. It's Tuju addressed the press yesterday, and he's saying this. I'll dissect it paragraph per paragraph. So I'll read then dissect. So he's saying our attention has been drawn to the matter of the new names added to become members of the National Management Committee of Jubilee Party that has received some mass media coverage. As stated in some media interviews, these were additions necessitated by the departure of some officials at different times in the last 1 year. 1 year, apart from one instance where 2 officials were from one county. Another addition was of the current executive director who replaced the previous official who had become a member of the CAS. So Tuju is basically explaining in the first paragraph why they made those changes. And it's giving like 3 reasons that there are officials who left the party. So if they left the party, then they had to be filled. And he's also saying, in one instance, there are officials, 2 people who are coming from one county. So I think they realized that it wasn't making sense. For example, if Tuju was coming from Siaya, and then there's another official from Siaya, then it was not making sense to have 2 members from one county serving at the National Management Committee. So they decided to let one go. And he's also saying that in the last instance, they made appointment of the executive director, because the previous executive director was appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta to serve as a member of CAS, basically assistant cabinet secretary. But the question which the allies of the DP are asking, and I think this is why they were sleeping, when these changes were being made, when the executive director was being appointed, they knew someone was going to be replaced. When offices became vacant, they knew these people were going to be released. Where were they? Why could they raise some of these questions during that particular time? That's the only question they're asking. But Tuju is saying these were just in-house keeping. In the second paragraph, he's saying, of course, the very reason why the Office of Registrar of Political Parties would give a gazette notice was to solicit objection, not support. From what we have seen so far in social media, it is apparent that some orchestrated objections have been sent to the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, and we are waiting the officials' communications from Register on those protests, and we will respond. So Raphael Tuju believes up to now that some of these things, some of the responses they've seen on social media have been sent to the registrar, but none has been copied to the political party. And as a matter of fact, normally when a gazette notice like the one which was raised was for objections, so that if you have any issue with those changes, then you respond. So I think it was just okay also for the allies of the DP to respond, to object to those changes. But in my view, they ought to have pursued the internal party mechanism, because it really exposes the wrangles in Jubilee Party. Remember, none other than the deputy president has always maintained that Jubilee Party is intact. And to just continue, the only matter of concern is that social media was supposedly chosen by some of the leaders to air their grievances, while they do have at their disposal other internal channels of communications. We say supposedly because We say supposedly because what we have seen in social media may have come from some false or parody accounts of such highly ranking individuals. Some of these high ranking individuals are on record of having always advised or insisted that internal party matters should strictly be settled within party internal dispute resolutions. So Tuju, and this is why I'm saying is actually hitting on the deputy president. He's claiming of highly ranking individuals in Jubilee Party. So he's basically referring to the DP. And these guys are either using fake accounts to advance this narrative or they have created a parody accounts. And in this case, I think they're alluding to the fact that Itumbi is being used to advance these narratives online. So basically, the DP has now turned into an online warrior, a blogger, the way Kenyans were referring to him the other day. And the mere fact that he's referring to a high-ranking individual. Who else is high-ranking individual in Jubilee Party, if not Uhuru Kenyatta and the deputy president? And they are saying the same individuals, because the DP has been on record that Jubilee is intact and that kama kuna shida watatatua kinyumbani. And this is what Tuju is alluding to. Some of the high-ranking individuals are on record as having always advised or insisted that internal party matters should strictly be settled using the party internal dispute resolutions. So kama if Jubilee has internal party resolutions mechanism, then the right procedure for the allies of the DP would have been to pursue that. But in this case, they've opted, not even for public, but they've opted for social media, because according to you, as far as things are today, he has not received anything. And next he's saying, we at the party headquarters have adhered to the policy of settling differences in the party, within the party to the latter, especially in the face of very emotive submissions with respect to our National Elections Board that was accused of having been used as rigging machine in Mount Kenya region. Hey, it's just a Jubilee ni ngumu. You can't understand. If you're keen, what Tuju is saying here, and this is what Moses Kuria was alluding to, is that they decided to ensure that they follow party structures strictly, because there were accusations that in the last elections, let me just repeat, we at the party headquarters have adhered to the policy of settling differences in the party, within the party to the latter, especially in the face of very emotive submissions with respect to our National Elections Board that was accused of having been used as a rigging machine in Mount Kenya region. So he's talking of emotive submissions. So it means Tuju has evidence and submissions from the Mount Kenya region that people were actually rigged out. And in my next video, I'm going to create a very interesting video next, especially on matters to do with Peter Kenyan, Waiguru, the succession politics in central Kenya. It's going to be very interesting perspective in that video. So it's alluding to the mere fact that the NEB was accused of engineering rigging, and people submitted, and that caused a lot of problems in Mount Kenya region. So basically, what we're saying here is that majority of those members of parliament making noise from Mount Kenya region, like Moses Kuria, Moses Kuria, Dinti Nyoro, Toko Falis Wahome, most of those people were actually rigged during Jubilee nominations. So it's very interesting. Let us just wait and see. And he's saying, we therefore wish to believe that some of the videos exhibited were from parody social media accounts of those very senior and respected leaders of the party who have access to the many channels of communications within the party leadership. He's telling the DP, if you have a problem, you have access to those channels. Pursue them. You're the deputy party leader. If you are the deputy secretary general of the party, you have access to those channels. Pursue them through those channels. Don't use social media. Don't use Itumbi to prosecute these matters online. And I think on that, Tuju is right to some extent. And lastly, Tuju is saying, we have always tried our best to steady the ship. And even in this instance, we ask our members and supporters to remain calm, and that we expect, especially those of us who are serving based on transition clauses in our constitution and were not elected into these positions in the first place, to conduct themselves with decorum. That includes the office of the Secretary General. So what Tuju is telling the DP indirectly, that is the Secretary General on an interim basis. So they need to carry themselves with decorum. The DP is the deputy party leader, not because he was elected, but because he was elected on an interim basis. So Tuju is telling all these people that as much as you are making noise, that the deputy party leader or what, there is nothing, there's no official which has been ever elected in Jubilee Party. All of them should conduct themselves with decorum, because all of them are serving on the interim. And I hope the deputy president is listening to the message which Raphael Tuju is passing to him. And Tuju is saying, the much talked about additions were made long before the coronavirus menace visited us. What was filed by the party last month was to comply with the 31st March deadline, were normal yearly returns that are required by law in terms of changes of office bearers, signatories to the account, and any other material issues that the registrar may require by law. This is what informed the registrar's gazette. So Tuju is saying, these guys are making noise because of the notice which was issued by the registrar. But some of these changes were made very long time ago. And he's wondering, because they were just trying to meet the requirement which was set by the registrar, which was 31st of March, the deadline. When is today? When is today? Today is 16th April. So Tuju is saying the registrar was just responding because some changes were made, but they were meeting a requirement which was meant for 31st. So basically, these guys remains the officials of the party. It's unfortunate that the altercations about these matters are coming at a time when the leadership of this country should focus on one most important thing, that is the war against COVID-19. So he's challenging the DP. Why should you engineer a war within the party when the entire country is focused on dealing with an international pandemic? So let me conclude. Let me read the conclusion the son of Raila is making. We must not lose focus on what is important today, even as we complain about the National Management Committee of Jubilee or the National Elections Board of Jubilee, for that matter. Kenya is bigger than Jubilee Party, and biggest challenge to Kenya today is the coronavirus. If you listen to that last paragraph, there is the National Management Committee, which Uhuru is controlling, and then there is the National Elections Board, which the DP is controlling. So Tuju is now bringing the 2 to 4. So if you are complaining about the National Management Committee, then there is also the National Elections Board, which people are complaining about. So basically, a bigger war is like to erupt in Jubilee Party. But in my view, Raphael Tuju is innocent. President Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies should spare Raphael Tuju some time and space, because Tuju is just doing the job he's doing. And that job he has been assigned by the boss, who is President Uhuru Kenyatta. So if the DP has any issue within Jubilee Party, he should spare Tuju and directly deal with the President Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't know what you think. And if you're bumping on this video for the first time, I want to take a second or two and hit the subscribe button so that next time you produce a video like this, you get notified. And to the subscribers, I want to thank you guys for your continued support. Thank you, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.